champion, Mr. Chris Weidman, Ray Longo. Ray, how you doing?
Very good.
Well, like I was saying to you here, another fight week, another desert rendezvous, if you will. Chris was talking about how this is becoming a second home to him. You kind of feeling the same thing? You kind of digging these fight weeks in Vegas?
Oh, at this point, you know, plus I did the reality show, so I was out here for 2 months, so I kind of do look at Vegas as if I lived anywhere other than Long Island. I've spent more time in Vegas, so yeah, it's always good to be back.
You fit in here, man. A lot of East Coasters make it out here. They get kind of over the weather of the East Coast, and they yeah, maybe you'll retire out here or something. Are you gonna retire? Or are you gonna be doing this till the day you die?
Yeah, I don't like the word retire, so I'm gonna go what I'll be doing until the day I die. But you know,
I get that feeling with trainers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely the word retire. I'm never gonna stop doing what I'm doing, whether or not I'm as active. But I'll always be working out and involved in the martial arts for the rest of my life.
Retire. At least the great ones never do. They always have the passion. They always keep it going. But this is early. We're early in Chris's career. This is only his 12th fight. He's 11-0, right? So this is his 12th fight. A lot of people are saying Machida's a more dangerous opponent. I'm in the camp that completely agrees with that. I've been saying he'd be better off fighting 2 Vitor Belforts and fighting 1 Lyoto Machida. What is it that makes Machida such? Why do I feel that way about Lyoto Machida?
You know, I think what people see in Lyoto is that he's very patient and he tries to get people to fight his game, and he'll wait and wait and wait, and he doesn't really make too many mistakes. I think that's part of the keys. If any, right?
Maybe his only mistake is letting fights go to the judges when he thinks he has them wrapped up.
Which is another you bring up a great point, is that this guy's content to win a boring decision. It really is true. And some of the decisions that he thought he won or lost, I mean, there might have been 4 punches landed in the Henderson fight, but yet he was happy to take that win. So that kind of makes him not dangerous that way, but you know, I think he's patient. He's not going to let the crowd get into his head and make him fight. He's going to wait and get what he wants, and it's not always the most exciting thing, but
is there a part of you that admires that, though? That admires that hard-headedness? Like, hey, I don't care about the 12,000 people out here. I don't care about the fans at home. I'm going to do me. I'm going to go out here and try to win this fight, and the hell with what anyone says.
Yeah, actually, you got to give him a couple of kudos for that.
You're in New York, right?
Yeah, I mean, I give him a little something for that, but I like more excitement. I like my guys pushing the pace. You know, but he's got to do what he has to do to win, and I think we understand that, and I think it's good. That's why it's an interesting matchup, because Chris is a pressure fighter. He's got a real interesting way of smothering you in the octagon. So I think it would be fair to say Chris has never faced anybody like Lyoto, and Lyoto has never faced anybody like Chris. And we're going to see what happens on Saturday night. You know, who's going to implement their game plan.
How important do you think this fight is for Chris's validation? Because I talked about on the documentary, the All-American thing. The flukish nature. Now, I don't agree with that. We talked about even after the second fight. You know, you caused that break. That was Chris Weidman breaking
100%.
Anderson Silva's leg.
100%.
Right. So, how important do you think this is? A guy like Machida, who carries so much of that hardcore respect. A lot of the hardcores really respect him for the things we just talked about.
Right.
His unwavering confidence and his skill set and all that stuff.
Yeah, listen, I don't really think, honestly, I personally don't think it's important. Here's the deal for me. Chris Weidman is a great fighter. Win, lose, draw, it doesn't matter. He's a great fighter. So he's a great fighter before this fight. He'll be a great fighter after this fight for years to come. Whatever happens. So I don't look at, it's not like validation that way, because I already know how good this kid is, and I know a lot of, you know, I know what I'm looking at. This kid's he's got the X factor, and I think that's the difference in the fight that nobody's seeing.
Do you see it? And what's that X factor? You think it's just being Chris Weidman?
I think, you know, you put 2 guys in the octagon, and the guy with the superior mix of attributes, who's ever got, is going to come out the winner. And I think when you look at all the attributes, Weidman's got the superior mix of attributes, and that's what makes him Chris Weidman. Yeah, he's got intangibles that other people can never have.
What do you think makes that? Do you think it's his upbringing? Do you think it's the stuff he's had to go through in his life, to kind of always playing second fiddle, never really getting the respect he felt he desered?
Could be. Yeah, I go back to childhood. Something. Listen, if you look at anybody, any great athlete, there's always something that drives them, right? And, you know, you can even make a case, I'll keep it to wrestling. Dan Gable, right? His sister got murdered. You know, I mean, that's that's got to be hard as a kid. And I think his
like
father,
you're fighting for both of them.
You know what I'm saying? So I think everybody has something like that. And Yeah, I think it's. I think you got to go back to his childhood and whatever events occurred in whatever sequence, I think have molded who Chris Weidman is, and now focused into fighting. I think that's what you say is great. He looks great, and I'll tell you, it got off to a little rocky start. I thought he'd probably feel better maybe a couple of weeks earlier, but we ended up great, and I expect a great performance.
What was rocky about it?
No, I think, I thought it was going to maybe be a 2-week thing. It was a 3-week thing, where his knee still fell big, so. Okay. It wasn't a big deal, though.
All right, well, what are the, he's already fought the Brazilian and Anderson Silva, an elusive guy, a tricky guy, a guy who, by his own right, doesn't really listen to the crowd. What can you take away from those Silva fights, when facing Machida? I
think the first thing you take away from the Silva fights is Chris Weidman is a risk taker, and a calculated risk taker, and he's going to go for stuff, and he's unpredictable. Look, he stuck his head out at Anderson. There's a guy who's a great boxer, wanted to box Roy Jones, really couldn't hit him. So I take away, that. Machida doesn't have the head movement of Anderson. He's a very linear fighter, and I think all of that stuff's just going to play into the fight.
Is there any worry he gets emotional like he did in the Silva fight?
No, I don't think it's going to be that.
Machida's lack of engagement and all that stuff?
You know what? There's only things you're going to find out once you're in there, and I think that's what makes a great champion. Who's going to adapt to whatever's going on? You can't prepare for everything.
But is that something you prepared for, given that he did get frustrated with Silva? Now it helped him. You told him to go out there and punch in his face.
Those are things again that we've discussed, and we'll take it, minute by minute in the octagon. And that me and Matt are very vocal from the sidelines, and if we see something, we'll sacrifice our lungs to get the point across. So I got to see. I think this is, Machida's a very respectful guy, so I don't think it's going to evoke the same emotion in Chris. I think Anderson was a bit of a bully, and Chris always shines in those type of situations. He's an anti-bully guy, and it would really be Machida's disadvantage to disrespect Chris in that octagon. I think that would be a big mistake. I think he's better off keeping his cool and having
just fight.
Just fight.
Just scrap.
I think that's what you're going to see. Yeah, I think that's what you're going to see.